All right, so I just keep hearing that somebody is avoiding accountability. Somebody has been avoiding accountability. This feels like runner energy. This is somebody who, like, I'm just seeing they turned away. I keep hearing they turned away. They turned away from the mirror, from their growth. And the excuse that they gave themselves was responsibility. Like, this is my responsibility over here. And I do feel like that sort of weight on my shoulders. So they turned away from the mirror, turned away from their personal growth. But what they did was they thought that they could just turn it off, like they could just avoid it. But instead, what's happened is they had some relief in the beginning and employed all of their usual distractions. But they're finding that it doesn't work. It's not working. And so it's just getting louder for them. It's getting louder. They can't ignore it. You're showing up for them in all kinds of places. You're living rent-free in their mind. Right now they are working on head-heart congruence. Like it feels like they're in an internal battle with themselves where like the head is saying one thing, but the heart is like really like wanting something. And it's like my heart's desire is what I heard. And they're really having a hard time with that because at some point in their life, they like turned away from love. It's not that they don't want love. They actually love deeply. It's hard for them. It's scary. It's really uncomfortable. It's very vulnerable. And so there's all this protective armor that I feel like I'm locked behind layers and layers of armor. And so if you're sitting in silence with someone right now, I'm feeling like they are like those. You can put on all the armor that you want, but you can't escape what's underneath, which is already in you. And so this feels like a time of reckoning with themselves. And just know that though they might be avoiding accountability and they might be avoiding you because you are the pillar of that accountability, like when they have to face you, they have to face themselves. And for them, that's really hard. What else? Now it's shifting. So there's emphasis on if you are struggling with, wanting to talk to them, you have feeling like you're missing them and it's been some time. It feels like an energetic cord for sure that's lit up between you where they're thinking of you, you're thinking of them. And you're still feeding the connection even though there's distance right now, like the connection remains. You have possibly done things to move away from it, but you're both finding that this is like an irreplaceable connection. There's never going to be another you for them. There's never going to be another you. And there's never going to be another them for you. And that's not something to be sad about. That's something to celebrate, is that you came together in the time that you did, and that set off all kinds of explosions. I feel lots of chemistry. I feel a lot of passion. I feel connection and attraction. And there was definitely something deep between you. And I don't feel like that is over. I feel like it's still alive, even though you're at opposite poles right now. 4:44 when I said that. But this time right now, like this separation is important because there are lessons that you have learned in the silence, in the separation, that you wouldn't have learned any other way. You couldn't have learned it any other way. And same for them, like they couldn't have learned. They needed to be able to come back to their own energy, put up their walls, sit like it's like almost like behind the gate and sit with themselves so they can see that all their usual things that they employ to be able to just move on they're not going to work. And so, you know, letting them sit with that, like sit with themselves right now is really important. And you sitting with yourself right now is really important. And so whenever you find yourself like focusing hard on their energy or like there's a spotlight on them, see if you can shift that, like the focus back to you. You need to be the spotlight, the center of your own life. And that's so much of what this time is teaching you, that all this focus on them and their issues and their problems and what they're doing and why they're doing it and why they did this to you and any of those thought patterns needs to shift so that you can come back to a place of gratitude for the experience, gratitude for the lessons that have been learned, gratitude for the growth that you have experienced, because you're not the same. You're not the same. You are a far better version of yourself than you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. And that's no small feat. Like, you have taken on the challenges of this relationship and allowed it to lift you, you know, to like be on your path where you want to be. Because even if you had come back together in the relationship the way that it was, the relationship as it stood was not a match for you. This is about frequency. So you're aligning in frequency right now. So you, in the silence, you like have done the work to like, I'm going to call it step up. And they're still working to meet you there. They know that they have to meet you there in order for you to come back together. I do feel like it is their desire to want to be in connection with you. I feel a lot of fear and humiliation and embarrassment coming from them. The foolishness, they feel foolish. They know that they owe you an apology. And they are like thinking through how they're going to show back up. They do feel like it's too late, like it's too little too late. And that's a choice that you're going to have to make when they do come forward. Okay, that's the message. It just cleared. All right, I hope that was helpful.